Alright, today is a very important day. Today we are touring the finished World of Japan, a section of Oakwood Zoo that we have spent the last 3 months on. This is one of my most favorited projects that I have ever made, I have ever built, so I'm very excited to go and tour through it all. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so here we are in the live action, or I guess in live action, in the live gameplay here with, I'm moving around and stuff, and we actually in the zoo. So, in here I have a guest spawner and stuff. This is just the stuff I start you guys off with. So I give you 3 guest spawners, and of course entrances. I give you guys staff so that the animals will not die. There are boards, of course the boards will not do anything when you guys download them because you don't have the boards or anything. You can download those in the link in the description if you would like. I do have those available to you guys if you want. Again, link is in the description below if you want to make it like that and really mimic the entire zoo if you want to. So this is the entrance. We'll be getting onto the tour. So this is what we did in the first episode of the series all the way back in August. We have some classic overhang, kind of overshadowy kind of structures. We also have the bonsai. Are these called bonsais? I guess so. The bonsai trees. Of course, like the nice red, sorry, red barriers, like the planters. But these were the actual bonsai trees were from the workshop, so I downloaded those, and I will also link them down in the description below. I will try to link everything that I used in this section, just small blueprints that I used here and there. There are about 4 in total, if I can remember right. I used 2 restaurant props for the restaurant, and I used, of course, these, as well as 1 prop for the pagoda thing, or the pagoda section, which we'll get to in a bit. But yeah, you have these on either side. I try to make them very symmetrical. There's a few differences, of course. This one has like the little like the outjet kind of thing. This would originally be a World of Japan map. I just never got around to making it. Eventually we will, and of course I cannot wait for the day that we finish the entire zoo and I get to make like a full zoo map of it. That is going to be exciting. That is going to be one happy day. But let's enter the actual section. And I added, you might notice I added fog things here to make it a bit more mystical, and I find it's actually really cool, and I start you guys off in the cloudy weather option because it looks so much cooler in like the fog. I tried it with snow and it's alright with snow, but very few things actually look really good in the snow, like when you leave it permanently, because it just covers everything, so it's just annoying. But yeah, this is the main everything when you first walk into the park. I added the Japanese banners all around the section because I felt it'd make more sense. Originally we only had them in the macaque area, so I added them, of course, across along here. They're about 50 per piece, or per flag. That is a pretty hefty price, but I think it's overall pretty worth it. And these are, of course, our bridges leading into the majestic pagoda, the centerpiece of this entire section. And I overall really love this part. This might be my favorite thing that we built in this section. I really don't know. It's between that and the macaque enclosure, because that's also one of my favorites. I've added, of course, little like rock paths across the water with like little floating candles. Very heavily inspired, of course, by Japanese kind of gardens and kind of like little streams and rivers. There is a little ledge here that you can go up. Of course, there is nothing in the actual pagoda, but you can wander around the edge of the pagoda and pretend that you could go in. We'll pretend that there's like an event or something happening in there, but it's more just kind of like a more historical kind of feeling of an area here, more like a historical purpose, similar to how you see a lot of zoos do like historical buildings that you can't actually go in. You can more just like look into. So I think that's probably what more of this symbolizes. But overall, I really enjoy it. If we just look at it from a top area, it just looks really cool. I've also added a like little like balconies and stuff here. These aren't actually that expensive in like pieces. I don't believe. The whole thing is 1,000, which is in retrospect actually not insane. The balconies are not that hard in themselves though, and they're not that high in piece count. And of course we have cypress trees along the whole thing just to give it a bit more symmetry. So I think that overall makes it look really nice. Which way should we go here? I feel like we should start in the episode order. So if we go back across this bridge, I love these bridges so much. They're absolutely beautiful. With a nice bright red. Let's go over here and let's visit our first enclosure. The enclosure that we made in episode 3 of the World of Japan. And that is the red crowned crane enclosure. So of course, guests sink through the floor. I could not really get it to manage perfectly, so that's unfortunate. But this is our red crowned crane enclosure. Where are we looking here? Where are our cranes? There's one. There's both of them. I believe I put the pond feature in here. I don't know if they actually use it. Unfortunately, it's so covered with everything that I can't tap on it. Oh, I can. Forage pool. It's inaccessible to the staff. Oh wait, never mind. It's just unaccessible, period. Alright, well, that's unfortunate. Anyway, but yeah, this is our beautiful crane enclosure here. We have lots of... I love the foliage in this. This looks amazing to me. Is this on play? Yeah, it is. We have our beautiful cranes. Cranes are one of my favorite animals. Like, maybe in general, I love them. They're kind of overthought of in zoos, or like underrated, because they're just kind of cranes, and they're just kind of there. But they're so beautiful, especially these guys. I've only, I think, once seen a red crowned crane. I've seen a bunch of cranes of different types, but I've only seen a red crowned crane once. And of course, if you don't know this about me, and I don't think I've ever shared it, but one of my favorite places that I really want to go to is Japan, because I just honestly really like Japan. That was one of the main reasons that I wanted to do a section dedicated to it, because I absolutely love the architecture. I love the nature of Japan, all the bright colors and the warm feelings, and you have it's so different, because you have the natural side of Japan with the beautiful nature areas and gardens, like the Zen gardens, and then you have the city style of Tokyo, kind of, where it's all big neon and you have the big flashy cities. So it's very different, and you just kind of get a mix of everything. The one thing that you also might not know about Japan, which I think people are trying to get more attention towards on social media, is that zoos in Japan are absolutely terrible. And it's honestly, I shouldn't really laugh, because it is honestly kind of sad, but the zoos in Japan are just literally jail cells, basically, for animals. And it's very sad. I've seen a lot of people that go to these zoos and who live in Japan, or at least travel there, and are disappointed by the zoos because of how badly they treat the animals, which is so bizarre to me, because it's a place that has such beautiful nature for these species, and you see a lot of beautiful species in Japan. There are, of course, many beautiful species that live there, but the zoos there are just garbage. I don't know. It's just unfortunate a bit. So I guess another reason, maybe, for my motive to build this place is to maybe make an authentic, a nice looking actual Japan section, to show that it is possible. So this is, of course, we're moving on to the next enclosure. As I keep talking about Japan, we have our red fox enclosure. Now this is a bit more unrealistic, and oh my god, there are so many foxes in here. I'm sorry, you guys, for everything you're about to endure here. Oh my god, there's so many, Jesus. We have the alpha female, who is starving. Alright, well, I did get a keeper in here. I don't know where he is. There are so many of you. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. Jeez. Where's the alpha female again? Here? I guess we'll try on contraceptive. I don't know if that'll do much. This is a bit more unrealistic in terms of an enclosure, what it would look like. Of course, better than any zoo in Japan, of course. But it's a bit more unrealistic, because I feel like they could escape, potentially, because the low barrier. So it might be something I would do in the future. Probably not, just because the lack of time. I still really enjoy it. I like the building, the shelter building. I think I mainly did this enclosure with the idea of making this gazebo and that building, and I ended up kind of filling in the gaps of just making an enclosure out of it. So I don't know, I feel like it could have some improvements done upon it. Also, with the weird rock structures, I feel like I could have done that a bit better instead of doing one directly in the middle. It just makes it look kind of weird with how the foxes move in it. So that's something, but overall, I still really enjoy it. It's probably my least favorite of the habitats here, but I do still really enjoy it. Also, we did not go into the back part. Also, if you did actually see or notice, I did fill in these two giant areas with foliage. That took about an hour just to fill in a lot of foliage. We have a nice little pond. I wrapped it around from the crane, so now it goes all the way up here where it starts, and it goes down the rapids, it goes into the cranes, and then it goes into this little pond that we have in the front of the section, which I think overall looks really beautiful if you're just looking at it like that. I absolutely love foliage in this game. Nothing will ever beat foliage in this game for me. It's just too perfect. It's too good. The building in this game just continues to amaze me. I did do some weirdness with the curbs there, but no one is really looking too far into that. But we have our little crane backstage area. It's just looking pretty fine, if I do say so myself. And then we have, of course, the holding pen for the cranes on the outside. So that's just there. And if we go into the... we have a little planter here. Of course, I forgot to add barriers to them, because I always do. But if we go... Well, why are you back? Is this not supposed to keep you out? I put guest barriers there for you to not go back there. But alright, whatever. Go by your own rules. Do that in a real zoo, see what happens. But if we go in here, this is our little red fox enclosure, or our backstage area for them. Very small, very cute. Gonna be getting a bit more low effort with backstage areas, and I feel like I'm really going to continue, unfortunately, with that trend, because we are so short on time to get the zoo done. Oh, look at that, though. It's my absolute favorite shot. One of my favorite shots of this entire build, or in this entire section. It just looks so nice, the lighting. So in case you didn't know, this is the Japanese macaque section of the Japanese macaque enclosure. We also have a nice view of the pagoda from here. So that's lovely. This whole area just looks so nice, like the red colors and the pink. I think the pink might be a bit out of place. I don't know if I'm going to change that. I might. But even other than that, though, you see like all the bright orange and reds and stuff, and it's just, oh, so nice, so beautiful. We should have macaques in here. I've added all the animals back in. So this is our little viewing area for the macaques. A lot of people really seem to enjoy this episode. I really did as well. It's one of my favorite episodes of the series. There's one. There's another one. I believe their forage thing is in the middle here. Yeah, so that is where they will go. Of course, it's inaccessible again. Whatever. I give up at this point. But yeah, we have macaques here. There's one there. What animal abuse? I'm just trying to... leave me alone. Yeah, in case you haven't noticed, I don't usually have animals in the park. So that's why I'm getting a bunch of stuff that's like terrible animal to control or whatever. That's not fair. This is the edge of the map, so I can't even build any further, or at least I don't... Yeah, this is literally the edge of the map, so that is where we are cut off, so that's a bit unfortunate, but you know, it's nice to have actual boundaries, or else I think I could go insane and just keep building forever. But this is the back of the building. We have, of course, the nice little area. I unfortunately did not end up adding a inside to this building yet. I probably will at some point, but for now, I just have not got around to it. So that will probably be maybe sometime in the future. No guarantees, and of course we have our other view of this section. The cloudiness makes it a bit hard to see in the light, but still. And of course we have our natural, lots of foliage, of course, everywhere we go. So now let's go down here. We have, again, you can enter the building from both sides. You can go up here, you could go around the other way. Doesn't really matter too much. And now we can go on the front, and we can see the front view of the macaques. And I don't know if we can see them from here. We might be able to. I think there's 3 in here. 2 females and 1 male. Oh, no, there's 1. Okay, well, there was 1. I sped it up and it disappeared. I used a lot of the, like, of course, the dead trees from Teaser Creates, as well as using rope to connect a bunch of them, and a few things that I used in the raccoon dog enclosure, which will be coming up on as well in the future. I honestly really like this enclosure. This is probably my favorite of the enclosures. It's just so big and it's so beautiful. It's just it gives off like very high budget. It's like one of those enclosures that like the city funds. That's like, all right, make this amazing, get new people in here. My local zoo did that with one of their big ticket animals, and it's kind of funny because they won't even use the big enclosure now. So that's kind of funny. But this gives off those kinds of vibes where it's just a absolute overall of an enclosure. I honestly just really like it. And of course, another view, 360. I love how you can see the pagoda from all angles, and that's what my really envision was. And I think overall what I'm really just excited about and happy about is that this section didn't throw any curveballs at me. It was very straightforward, and what I really wanted to happen really did. I wanted to have it where the pagoda was in the center, and you could see it from all angles, and you can. And we've made some pretty amazing enclosures for some of the Japanese animals, which I'm honestly very happy with. I think I would not change a lot about this, about anything about the layout of this. So now we are on to the second to last build. The last animal is down here. But the next thing that we did in the last episode, which was not really well responded with just in views and engagement, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? It's a restaurant. It's nothing too fancy. But this is, of course, the Japanese restaurant. This is something I talked about since the very beginning of the section, and I finally was able to finish it, or actually like made it. I don't even know what you're doing back there. Where are you going? Why are you just here? Oh, they're looking at the screen. That's crazy. I put this as like a mimic of like a restaurant having like a computer screen or whatever, and they have like a standing tablet or whatever, like a flip tablet, and I didn't realize that literally everyone would just look at it. I love that. I did have a restaurant here, and I think they do use it as intended. Yeah, they do. Alright. And they just teleport to a thing. I just forget that they actually have to go and get food, so I guess that explains that. But overall, I'm very excited with this. It's not something super unique or super detailed. Oh yes, these guys got the money shot. You guys even saved a seat from me. How kind of you. Look at that. You can see beautiful views and stuff. Again, like I said in the episode, this is like a VIP seating. You can see everything from here, and it just looks so cool. You can even see, if you're very lucky, you could see the macaques from there. I don't see them because I just do not have the patience for it. But we have washrooms, not actual washrooms, of course, because we don't have any of those. We can't have washrooms in a zoo. What do you think this is? And then we have more of a outside area. I don't know how logical this is, actually having like steam coming from these things. I mean, I can't turn it off, so let's hope it's good enough. So then we have here, this is a little outlook for to have like a little swan ride. This will make more sense and will connect better when we have stuff across the lake, which will no doubt be the North America section. If we even get to that, I really hope we do. I'm going to try my best, of course, to make as many enclosures as I can while not downgrading the quality of them as well. But overall, I really like this. I liked playing around with the these. These are like my new favorite piece when doing like any kind of like backstage kind of stuff, because it just looks so nice, and it's like so, like the texture on these is so good, and it fits in so well with like the concrete, and it looks nice. So that's very nice. This stuff, the life jackets, swans, and the this kind of like floating barrier, were all from a workshop build, so I will link that down below in the comments, or in the description, sorry, along with the other blueprints. Again, I used Ricey's restaurant props and Caesar Creates African restaurant props for the restaurants, so I will link those down below. Go check out them. Caesar Creates, of course, has his YouTube channel, so please go check him out if you would like, if you're interested. So this, we will go back here in a second. If you do take this path back, it just connects you back to this area. I didn't want to have people here, but I feel like they of course can't use the bridge because it's not an actual path, so they have to get there somehow, so I just did that. I might change it in the future to have them not be allowed to go back there, but it's whatever. I put this here because this will eventually lead into the North America section, so that's kind of like foreshadowing, I guess, for the future. And that would, of course, take you back to the main entrance. But we are not done yet. We still have one more enclosure to go. Of course, we can see more stuff around here. Oh, this was, of course, also... This thing was the other workshop build that I used here. So I will also link that down below. It's just a nice little thing I wanted to include. And the other thing I wanted to show off is if you put this to nighttime, I added those candles glow up and it looks so nice. With like little like ponds and stuff, it just looks so cool. I love that. And the absolute amazing thing about this area is like the colors of the pagoda and stuff when it's like at sunset. It just looks so good. Like look at that. Or like if you put it right when, oh my god, look at that though. Like that's just quality screenshot material right there. But like the red and everything, it's just, I love it so much. That's really good. I love that. But one of the best moments for like actually screenshot taking. But like the sky and everything. I love that. Anyway, we are on to the final enclosure, which is of course our little chubby raccoon dogs. Where are we here? There's our little guys. They had a baby since I last saw them. Adorable. We can go back over here, like these little cute fellas. I love these guys. They're so silly. They're hard to get photographs of, or like take footage of for the videos, because they just constantly move around, and they're also just really chunky that they just interact with, or they kind of like clip through a bunch of things. So that's a bit challenging, but of course I did manage to get some pretty good footage of them. And this is their enclosure. I spent a lot of time in like this building specifically, doing like the balcony, and the inside isn't too detailed. It's very similar to the cranes, but the actual like over top, like the exterior of the build is pretty detailed indeed. And of course I also spent a lot of time doing this stuff. You guys, this is a great example of something that you guys can take for yourselves if you want to look into the looking at the enclosure, like when you download it from the workshop. This is something I would just maybe suggest getting if you're working on climbing structures and stuff. That'd be very helpful. Just let me just save you guys a bit of time. Of course, fences are always there for you guys if you want them. I don't tend to do fences. Like I don't tend to upload them constantly for this game, just because it's just a lot to keep track of. Anyway, let's go down. I tried to mimic kind of like a Zen garden kind of vibe here with like the rocks and another bonsai tree. So that's pretty nice. And that brings us honestly back to our beginning, where we started. So that is pretty much it for the World of Japan. We have talked for about 20-25 minutes, and that's overall it. It's a smaller section, I guess, but like in the grand scheme of things, it takes up quite a big chunk of the entire zoo. Quickly, if we talk about future plans, because I know that this is not supposed to be a future plans video, but still, we still are not even, we're basically halfway through Season 3 of Oakwood Zoo. We still have a few more things to do, and I will throw up the to-do list, I guess, that we went over in the Season 2 wrap-up video, that we still have things to do. We have to finish the desert house, which in the grand scheme of things, I might actually, well, the original plan was to do sandcats and tortoises. I might just do the sandcat because we might not have enough room on the inside to do both of them. So that's a bit tricky. But mainly all we have left to do is sandcats, potentially tortoises. What else? We can start on, yes, we can start on more African stuff. Somali wild ass, dromedary camel is one I really want to do. Okapis, stuff like that maybe. Adax, sorry. And then we also have to finish up some things for South America. I have started a long time ago, back in like June, of a Great Area and Anteater enclosure. So I really want to finish that and get that up and running. We have to build the maned wolf enclosure to finish off Predator Passage. We can do a sloth house to do like the brown-throated sloth and make that a bit interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of loose ends that we can tie up here and there. I also want to do a couple of surprise enclosures, maybe stuff for the Asia Pac animals. I'm not really sure. In Season 4, which will be approaching probably in the new year, that will have a project that I am very excited for. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not going to share any details on that yet. When we finish Season 3 around January, that will be what we will be looking at. But for now, I think that's going to be pretty much it. That's about all I have to say. If you did enjoy this video, if you did enjoy the World of Japan, and you want to stay tuned for Season 3, the rest of Season 3, and the future of the zoo as a whole, I promise you we'll be building this zoo probably right up until the launch of Planet Zoo 2, maybe even a bit after, because I really don't want to leave this zoo unfinished. I know it looks like in fragments or whatever, it's barely going, but once we start making a lot of enclosures that bridge the gaps, like in these areas, I think it'll look pretty connected. And of course, remember, we have the Oakwood Petting Zoo that I can also put in here at some point. So there are some things that we can do here and there that I think the zoo will come together pretty fast in no time. But regardless of that, if you did enjoy this video, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment down below what you enjoyed about the video, what you enjoyed, was your favorite part of the world of Japan, and if you were going to be downloading it tomorrow. I'm very excited for tomorrow. I cannot wait for you all to see the trailer that I have made, and I stayed up till like 2 a.m. making. Not because it was like rushed or anything, because I just really wanted to finish it, so that's gonna be nice. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye guys, have a great rest of your day.